Hi, I'm Joyce E. Brooks, and I speak and I write books, a lot of books. My first failure made sure I was never going to be in politics. I had been, prior to this failure, I was the one that always got the first place, spelling bee, all those different elementary, middle school achievements. Always selected to, represent the school at activities. So I really didn't know disappointment and failure until I ran for president of the student council, which I just knew I was going to win because I thought elections were based upon not the popular vote, but the most qualified individual. I was wrong. To this day, I don't plan to run for any elected office. But it was a reality that just because you think you deserve something doesn't mean you're always going to get it. My mother demonstrated such strong will, determination, sacrifice, strength, and no matter what the circumstances was going on in the household, caring for my grandparents, caring for all these children, limited incomes. When I watched my mother, it never seemed like it was a burden. I mean, giving up just was never an option. So growing up watching her live that kind of was embedded in me without me even knowing. It wasn't until I personally started facing some challenges that I realized what I saw, how she lived, was inside of me. Matthew is my youngest child. And I had a perfect delivery with him. I actually worked on Friday, and he was born that weekend. And I thought everything was fine, and the doctor came in and told me that he had a severe case of what they call jaundice. And as a result of it, they start telling you he could, suffer from Down syndrome, or he could have spina bifida, and just going on and on. And that was the test of one's faith, because at that point, there was nothing I could do, nothing his father could do, nothing the doctors could do. It was all on God at that point. All that stuff the doctor said at the end of the day, no bearing. Only issue he has is that he want to eat me out of house and home. I was just not giving up. I was not surrendering to anything those doctors were saying about his condition. Not because I'm saying it. I believe in a power that's great enough to answer that prayer. Everything at this point in my life, I'm rocking along pretty good. I'm on the corporate ladder. I have 2 healthy, happy kids. I'm happily married. Life is good. And then you go for that checkup, and they say, I think we see something. Let's do another mammogram. The diagnosis came back as breast cancer. And in that moment, it was like, you have to decide what's important. You're gonna live or you're gonna die. That first morning of radiation treatment was unreal. I walked in the cancer center for treatments, and I looked around the room, and you see all these individuals who are, they're writing in their journals, they're reading their Bibles, they got scarves on their head, they're knitting. I mean, it was just depressing. And, I stood up there in that lobby, and I was like, I'm not checking out of here. I got too much to live for. I got too much I hope for when I think of my children. But what I will say about cancer, that it was probably one of the best things, believe it or not, that happened to me, because it made me set my priorities. The only thing I could think about is my family. If I had to tell someone else about what to expect in life, I can say right off the bat, expect the unexpected. Every time I've written a book, it's been in response as a result of an event. When I had the cancer diagnosis, Once I got past that, I wrote Self-Inflicted Overload. When I left corporate America and walked away from what people consider security, I wrote It Ain't Over. Ironic thing about that book is that book was at the printers when I found out I became a widow. The book was at the printer, which is, I don't believe by coincidence, because that book was written to encourage people who are faced with adversity, because stuff will happen. You have no control over it. You don't know when it's going to happen. But if you approach it from the attitude and perspective that it ain't over. I mean, as long as you have breath in your body and you wake up every morning, you got an opportunity to deal with it, to face it, to make it better, to learn from it. And that's what I've done with all these experiences that I've gone through. I am Joyce E. Brooks, and I want you to know it ain't over.